Hey ladies, today is Sunday, March 29th, 2020. And if you are, I shouldn't say if, I'm assuming you're at home because the bulk of the country right now is under stay at home orders under various state governments. Local governments have individually done stay at home orders for a lot of places, which, as I speak, tends to be most of the country due to COVID-19. So I just want to say I hope everyone's being safe and that everyone is staying at home. Very important. To slow this down and to flatten the curve, as they say. But anyway, I'm sure you've heard enough about that. It dominates every news station, the internet. It's extremely important, but it's most of what most people think about right now. So this is something hopefully different. If you're watching my video, I know I've already spoken about how being quarantined and this random hair, girl. Being quarantined and the whole thing with the coronavirus being that I am in the New York City area. I've spoke about it because New York State has the most cases in the country. But and life up here is pretty crazy right now, but I don't know, not something I'm going to really talk about too much because I honestly don't go outside anymore. So anyway, I am 37 weeks postpartum, so to speak. I don't even know if you should be considering it. What's funny is that this coming week will be 38 weeks. And I was only pregnant for 38 weeks. I was induced on my 38th week. So at some point, and it's funny, she'll be like longer out than she was in. And I know that happens with everyone, even if you do 40 weeks, 42 weeks, however long you were pregnant. But it's just interesting to me to get to this point where I can say Michaela has been spent almost as much time in the world as she was with me carrying her. So yeah, so I'm coming up on 38 weeks and she's such a diva. She's so sassy and bad and headstrong, and she wants what she wants and she's going to do what she wants to do. And she has this grip. Let her get a grip on something. It's almost like a vice grip to try to get it off. You're like, but she's so smart and, funny and goofy, but she might be a handful because she's like, if, when you tell her not to do something, the first thing she's she turn and makes these little faces and, and will talk back, so to speak, make her little noises. I know if my, husband's holding her and she wants to get to me, and then I may be doing something, so he's holding her, and then finally when I get her, and she may be crying for me or whatever, and then finally when I get her, she will turn back and look at him like trying to keep me from it's so funny. Every single time she turns back and looks at him like, and I'm like, oh, she is going to be a handful. So I don't know how you deal with an 8-month-old diva, which is what I have right now. And I don't see it getting any better. I see her just growing more and more into this. She definitely has always, from early stages, as I look back now, she always showed me this very determined and headstrong nature from birth. Even when we were struggling in the early stages to breastfeed, I noticed that she was very headstrong and very determined. And so she's always been like that. And I can't imagine her changing, but maybe she'll mellow out. I don't know. I'm pretty intense, so she might not mellow out. We'll see. But right now, this past week, she started cutting 3 teeth. So initially, she had the lower left front tooth, which is a central incisor. And so now she's getting the one right next to it. So the lower, like, okay, for those that you don't know, the teeth that grow in first most commonly are the two in the front at the bottom, the center teeth. These two teeth, well, the two in the middle, in the bottom, in front. Those are the two that grow in first normally, and then the two at the top. Now I have a slight gap, but these two, those are the second ones to grow in. So Michaela has had the lower front left one for about 2 months now. It started cutting on January 24th. I remember because I had been rubbing her gums, and then that was the day I first felt the tooth cutting. And so it started, so I actually like write this down in a book. So it started cutting on January 24th. And then this past week, she started cutting the tooth next to that. So it was the lower right central incisor, and then both front teeth. So these two, the top two front teeth. And, I'm just like, that's kind of crazy because she's like growing 3 teeth at one time, which of course is probably pretty painful to her and has been causing like a lot of sleepless nights, I guess. So she's already kind of a pain in the butt and a diva. And so right now she's not even really sleeping well. She's waking up a lot, like moaning and groaning, unfortunately. And yeah, so, I've been using the Zarbi gel on her. I don't love that gel. I know it gets a lot of positive reviews. I don't necessarily dislike it, but I don't see the point. It's like jelly, like a jelly consistency. So it just kind of, it doesn't rub good on her gums, I find, or on the area. It's kind of like and most of the time she sucks it. Anything I use, when I used to use my finger, I don't use my finger anymore because girlfriend bites. But when I used to use my finger, I would rub it on, but it never really smeared on the gum like Brie, and she'd end up just like swallowing it, which is safe to swallow, but it's just, I wasn't sure whether it was actually doing its job. And I would try to like rub it between my fingers sometimes and then try to get it on, but it just never really, I couldn't get it on right. And then but now that she has teeth, and trying to get it on around the areas where the teeth are cutting, it's just, but I still do because I bought it, so I'm still using it, and maybe it does provide some relief. It has chamomile. Now, chamomile is supposed to help with inflammation and with teething, so it's supposed to help soothe. So you can even use a washcloth soaked in some chamomile tea, and sometimes the babies like to chew on that. So that's what's been going on. Like through this whole thing, she's been like teething heavily. To do 3 teeth at one time is like, so she hasn't been sleeping. She's been super cranky and irritable, more clingy, but she's also going through leap 5, which I believe is like the category leap or whatever. And I give the leaps, I take them with a grain of salt, but I do find some truth to what the leaps say, for those of you that follow the Wonder Weeks. So she is also going through that. So that also usually leads to a lot of the crankiness and the sleep issues and things. So she's going through that. The third thing is that she has been refusing, and okay, it's half her, it's half me. She's been refusing to sleep in her bed. And this has been for like the past 5 to 6 weeks. She has not slept in her crib. And you probably remember not too long ago, I just bought her crib back in December, and I don't think we put it together until early January, and I bought her this really expensive breathable mattress because she sleeps face down, so on her stomach. And I was like, oh, I get this mattress so I don't have to think or worry about her sleeping with her face pressed into the mattress. And it's like almost like a total waste of money because she doesn't even sleep in it anymore. She's just sleeping in my bed essentially. So like the last 5 to 6 weeks, she's been sleeping in my bed, and she's been refusing to sleep in her bed. And I am not big on sleep training. I tried it, I failed. I don't want to do it. And so, I'm just dealing with it and kind of letting this whole thing play out the way it's going to play out. So, I have the little girl in my bed every night. And yeah, I mean, it's not great. And with everything going on in the world right now, there are times I really do want to keep her close. And with her teething, with all these teeth coming in, I like to keep her close because I know she wants to be comforted. And now she's back to nursing in the middle of the night. Like, we went through a long stretch when she didn't night nurse, and now she does night nurse. And I'm not really sure if I should stop it because she has the teeth. I've read things that said that you shouldn't let a baby go to sleep with a bottle in their mouth, or unless they had water, or a bottle, or your breast. And I often do that. Like, sometimes I nurse her to sleep and she'll go to sleep, which I know is a bad habit. I know, no. I know people will say you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that because it becomes a crutch, and it kind of does. It's just this is a reality. Don't start anything that you're not prepared to keep up. That is a big tip for when you have a baby or with your children. Like, if you start it, you have to be prepared to keep it up. And if you're going to nurse a baby to sleep, you're going to probably be doing it until they're 15. I mean, I don't know, but you'll be doing it for a while, which is what I'm dealing with right now. And so that's the big thing. Don't do anything you're not prepared to keep up. And I don't necessarily mind nursing her to sleep. I do not really want to sleep with her in my bed, not because I'm worried about her suffocating. That is a minor worry at this point. She is 8 months. She can sit up, she can roll over. I know that SIS is still a possibility until a year, but I don't really worry so much about that at this stage. She's not little, like a little one anymore, that I worry about that. I think more of my concern now is just, one, she's moving all over the place. I like her to have her own space where she can move comfortably and, flop around like a fish if she wants to. Like, that is what I'd want for her to get in her crib, and have her space, and I can have my space. I sleep better when she's not in my bed. For the past few weeks, I haven't been sleeping as great. I do sleep, but, I'm always very, conscious of the fact that she's in the bed, so it's not like a deep sleep. And if she was in her bed, I could probably get in a deeper sleep. Her crib is still in my bedroom, and it will remain there for I don't know how long, but it is still in my bedroom. So it's not like I'm asking her to go to another room. I just really want her to sleep in her bed that is essentially 3 feet away from my bed. But no, so far she's not doing that. She was. I had her in there and we were fine, and she was going to sleep in there every night, but I was rocking her to sleep, and I know that's another no-no. There's a lot of no-nos that I do. And I was rocking her to sleep, but as long as I rocked her to sleep, I was able to put her down in her bed. And now, rocking her to sleep, I can get her to sleep, but she won't. Can't put her down in her bed without those eyes popping open. So, and now that she's crawling very well and she's pulling up on everything, which makes baby proofing even more of a priority because, they pull up on everything. Now I haven't done it yet, but I'm coming up on the stage where I need to lower her crib down to the lower level. So most cribs have 3 levels. The first level is the highest level, which is usually for newborns, and then the middle level is for crawlers, and the third bottom level is usually for walkers. But if you think your child can crawl out of it or climb out of it, because they usually attempt to get out of it, which she hasn't started that yet, but that's the next thing, lowering her crib to the even like lowest level. I don't know. I'm kind of like, that meme, like, or not meme, whatever, the emoji with like the, what do you do type thing. Or maybe I'm the one like, like, I don't know, because I kind of want her out of my bed. I really do. I want her in her bed, but I do like the closeness. I do. I like cuddling with her to some extent. Like, we don't actually cuddle, but because I want her to have some space. But at the same time, she always ends up like right pushed up next to me, especially if she's nursing. But I like having her there in a way. So that's why I said it's only partially her, and it's a lot me too. Like, I need to lay down the law, put her in the bed, let her cry. But I'm not going to do that. Sleep training was just, I need a method that's like 99% tear free. Like, like, I need it to be like 99% tear free, not just little tears, like, not, because even the methods that I've run into that say they're, mostly tear free, or they limit the number of tears, is still very hard. Sleep training is in no way easy, and I don't think it matters what method you choose. And if you don't, like, you don't have to sleep train. Eventually they'll figure it out and they'll get it together as they age. It's just, waiting until that time. So I don't know how long I can wait, but right now I'm not prepared to. I will let you know if that changes, because I said I wasn't prepared to. I knew early on I would never do that, and then I did it. So remember, when you're pregnant and when you first have these babies, you say a lot of things you'll never do, and then I did it. I tried to do it, let me put it that way. And then we did attempt to sleep train, and we let a lot of crying happen, and for us it ended up not working out, and I decided not to continue. So yeah, but originally I was dead set against any of it. And then I got fed up and I went to it. And then I was just like, I can't do it. So she tends to win most wars. I wonder what that says about the future. But she tends to win everything. But I'm telling you, when she gets older, I plan to be like, listen, little girl, sit your butt down. Let me explain who's in charge. But I don't know. So far, she's in charge. Oh, and a side note about her teeth. I don't know. It's my first baby. I don't know what's normal with baby two front teeth, but so far, since they're both cutting and they're not even halfway out, I think, but so far they both, it looks like she might have my gap. I actually hope she doesn't. Believe it or not, lots of people love the gap and lots of people want the gap, and I've always hated the gap. I had braces for 2 years, and I wore my retainer for a couple of years afterwards, and my teeth reverted, and I didn't even know that was a thing. And so, which is why I still have a gap. I used to have, after the braces came off and I had the retainer, I had no gap. Everything was perfect, and the gap wanted to be there, and slowly it shifted to the point that I couldn't even get the retainer on anymore, and then in the gap. So the reality is I probably should have worn a retainer forever, and maybe the gap wouldn't have come back, but it did. And I've always hated it. It's always made me so self-conscious. I know, like, when I was younger, when I would smile, I used to always do this, or I would talk sometimes like this because I didn't want people to see the gap. And when I was, kids can be so cruel. When I was in elementary school, they used to make fun of it, and I used to feel so bad about it. And it's so hereditary because my dad has it. Most of my aunts and uncles on his side have it. My grandmother, his mother, had it. So it's so hereditary. It is a strong possibility Michaela will have it. But I really hope she doesn't, because I can't stand it. I just have learned to try to be more comfortable with it. But it has always been a source of, I don't know, it's always made me very self-conscious. And more recently, in the last probably 5 years, I looked into getting rid of it. Again, I thought about getting Invisalign, and I was told that I wasn't a candidate because the gap actually is, for me, not everyone's case is different, makes it like a jaw structure thing, which is why it came back, because it's like the way my jaw is set, which is also hereditary. And they were saying that the only way to fix it is to break my jaw and reset it. And I was just like, forget it. I gotta learn to love this game. So, and although I can't say I love it, I tolerate it. But I'd like for her not to necessarily have it. And although I'm not willing to have her jaw broken to fix the gap, but if there's anything they can do earlier, I remember one dentist told me that my parents could have earlier had something done that would have kind of made the jawline grow in correctly, so I wouldn't have had the gap. So if it's not painful and there's something they can do, I may consider it. I'm not willing to really cause any pain over it. It is, I guess, fairly cosmetic in my case. But I hope she doesn't have it. I really do, because, you want your child to just have the best, and I can't stand this gap. Even though I've gotten tons of compliments on it, and people like it. I mean, every time I go to the dentist, my hygienist for cleanings, my hygienist loves it. She's always like, I want a gap. I wish I had a gap. Growing up, I wanted a gap. And I'm like, well, where are you from? But we always want what we don't have. And I'm like, you could take this one because I am so through with it. But anyway, so I don't know if it's normal for the front teeth of children to have a gap. Someone told me it was, because it needs to be room for adult teeth, but I don't know if that person knew what they were talking about. So we'll see. I've seen little kids, they don't always have gaps, but they're often missing teeth. So I don't know what's normal with the two front teeth. So we'll see. And if she has a little gap, I will let you guys know. But they're still growing in, so it's a little hard to tell. But it looks like they might be gapped, but I'm not 100% sure. But stay safe, everyone. Please stay safe out there. That's really my update. I will continue to be in touch, and I hope that everyone out there continues to be in touch. I know we're in a really scary situation right now, but if we stay positive and if we do what we're supposed to do, which is, I believe, social distancing, washing your hands if you have to be out there, if you're essential. If you are considered essential, thank you for everything, because I know there's a lot of people out there going to work every day to jobs that they don't really want to go to, and putting themselves and their family potentially at risk. I know you're out there working for everyone else's benefit, so thank you so much to everyone. That's the food service people, the supermarket people, the pharmacy people, the janitors, the cleaners, everyone out there, the doctors, the nurses. Thank you. I'm a lawyer, and we're never really essential. So even though my office actually is considered essential, but we are able to work from home. So to all of you essential workers who cannot work from home, be safe, take care, and thank you.